Welcome and thank you all for coming out to help out with the 2021 Holiday Task Force. We couldn't do it without all your participation. Really appreciate it. I'm Sergeant Al Dzenkowski, the supervisor of the Alcohol Initiatives Unit for Montgomery County Police, and you all are going to go out and hopefully take care of business tonight. Make sure our roadways are safe. I'd like to thank the participants of the task force this year: Montgomery County Police, Montgomery County Sheriff's Office, Gaithersburg Police, Rockville City Police, Tacoma Park, Maryland State Police, Maryland National Capital Park Police, and Maryland Transportation Authority Police are all involved in the task force this year. Our first speaker tonight is going to be Captain Jim Brown, the Traffic Division for Montgomery County Police.
I can't thank you all enough. Number one, your willingness. All the allied agencies, this is what makes this task force. You all knocked it out of the park last week. 37 arrests, and that was with half of what people that are in here now. That's incredible. It's sad that there's still that many DUIs out there, but it's also incredible the work that you all are doing. The biggest thing I can tell you is, one, be safe out there. Think about if you're on a stop for a long period of time, or you're on an accident that involves a DUI, putting your vest on, your reflective vest, because no one pays attention anymore and everyone's distracted. So I just can't stress that enough to keep you all safe out there on the road. But thank you all for everything that you all are doing, and you're making it, you can never guess how many lives that you're saving by getting these people off the road when they make these stupid decisions to drive drunk. But on behalf of Chief Yamada and Chief Jones, thank you all so much for doing what you're doing.
So every year, tens of thousands of lives are impacted by impaired drivers throughout the country. We have cruisers struck here repeatedly. It's unfortunate, just over the past two task forces alone, the last 2 years, we had 3 cruisers just assigned to the task force that were hit, let alone the patrol ones that were struck. During the 2015 Holiday Task Force, our family took a grave loss, and here to speak to you tonight is Rich Leotta, father of Officer Noah Leotta, obviously, who was an intern here with the police department. He was then a patrol officer and was a member of the 2015 Holiday Task Force that you all are participating in tonight. Through his words, we're going to learn about his tragedies and what he's dealt with and how we can make something positive out of that and overcome adversity. So from here, everything we do, it's for Noah. So we get one more for Noah every time. Okay, Rich.
I'm always honored when I'm invited to speak at this event. It means a lot to me, obviously, for a lot of reasons. I think it's a privilege and an honor to speak to true heroes, and that's what you are. You are true heroes in the true sense of that word. You embody that. And, I'm sure you probably realize it, that in today's world, we're having a crisis on our roadways, and in many areas, but on our roadways in particular. This year, we're on track to lose 40,000 lives in crashes in 2021. That's the largest increase in 15 years. So something is happening out there that is really, I don't know exactly the full magnitude of what's causing it, but I'm sure some of the stresses and whatnot due to COVID are probably part of the reason. But I do know that there has been a spike in impaired driving by about 15% since after COVID. That's a big spike, just in impaired driving. So that's clearly part of the reason. But what is causing them to do that? Again, I don't know that answer. All I know is we need to get the message out and we need to stop that from happening. Now, we can all make a difference during the holiday season and maybe change that trajectory by getting this message up, by telling people to plan ahead and to get a safe and sober ride home. I mean, there's so many options in today's world, such as having a designated driver, ride shares such as Uber and Lyft, taxi service, public transportation, and even walking. And you know, when I say the rideshare, I wanted to put this information out because my daughter is using it tonight. Governor Hogan has established a fund of $10,000 starting today at 4 p.m. through January 1st, that setting aside for 1,000 Uber rides that a person can get a $10 credit twice during this time frame. And guess what? My daughter is using it tonight. Make a Plan 2021. That's the code. And it'll put $10 into her account, and she and her boyfriend are going down to Bethesda tonight and are using Uber and are using that plan. So thank you, Governor Hogan. And that's what people need to do. It's simple as that. It's not difficult. And there are a lot of parties that go on during this time of the year also. And the people that host these parties can do different things, non-alcoholic drinks, but ensure that the people that are arriving and leaving are doing that safely. Make sure nobody is driving impaired. If we care for our friends and family, why wouldn't we do that? It's just common sense. Now, you know, I know we live in unprecedented times, and a lot of challenges happening. Lots of challenges. You know, we've got the pandemic, we have civil unrest, and you've never been under such scrutiny as you have been before. I mean, this is really very unusual, that the scrutiny that you're under. And compounding all of that and these challenges that you're facing, there's officers retiring and resigning, and recruitments are down. So that adds even more stresses to what you do, to making it so difficult for doing your job. Yet you put your life on the line and at risk answering the call to help save lives and keep the wolves at bay, and in this case, drunk drivers. Drunk drivers. And yes, there are other tools in the toolbox, such as engineering, technology, education, but the most effective tool in our toolbox is enforcement. You are what makes the biggest difference. So understand how important you are to help save lives. Therefore, we need this holiday task force, especially now with the increase in impaired driving. We need you. We need you to provide that enhanced DUI enforcement, to have the checkpoints, and spreading the message during this, it's National Impaired Driving Prevention Month, that if you drive, you better drive sober or you're going to get pulled over. That message needs to be heard loud and clear. Now look, I'm one that knows, I've lived it, I see it. I've done court monitoring, I've sat through hundreds and hundreds of court cases. And I know that the legal system doesn't make it easy for you. They don't see drunk driving as a deadly and violent crime. They just don't see it that way, and I don't get it. But I can tell you this, when I go to court, there's typically no victim at the other table. So the judge is only hearing from the defense attorney and the story of woe as to why this person drove reckless and irresponsible and putting other lives at risk. They don't see the victim. They don't see me. They don't see my son. They don't see the hundreds and thousands of others that have lost their lives, have been injured by drunk drivers. So, you know, our legal system is anemic at best regarding the punishment and lack thereof And it's exasperating that this exists. And it shouldn't, especially when you're out there putting your life on the line to save lives. The judges just don't recognize that impaired drivers are domestic terrorists, and they don't discriminate, and they're playing Russian roulette with everyone on the road. And impaired driving is still to this day the deadliest and costliest danger on the road. And people don't seem to get that message. Our judges don't get that message. You get the message. I get the message. Noah got the message. They don't get the message until they realize that 2 out of 3 people are going to be impacted by a drunk driver in their lifetime. Think about that. And every day, 30 people lose their lives to an impaired driver. Every day in this country. And 720 people will be injured. And yet we continue not focusing on this problem as we should be in this country. We've taken it for granted. That it could be me, could be any of you. It was Noah in 2015 that he lost his life to an impaired driver. And today, 30 people will lose their lives. And they will not be home for the holidays. And yet, for some reason, it doesn't resonate the way it should be. You know, there will be advanced technology that will make a difference. I don't know if you are aware of this, but the infrastructure bill that was just passed, it includes language in there that will require automakers to start in 2026 to have passive systems in all new vehicles that prevent impaired driving. Hopefully, in years to come, it'll put you out of business and we won't need this alcohol task force. Because when this goes into effect, it's estimated to save 10,000 lives a year. Think about that. That's an enormous number. That's an enormous amount of people that will be at the Thanksgiving Day table. I know we've got all these things going on, but you need to be, I know it's stressful, I know it's hard, I know there's a lot of dynamics in the world that are creating these situations today, but we need you on the front line to be visible, vigilant, and vigorous in getting these drunk drivers on the road, off on the road, and we will work the back door, so to speak, with our legal system. We got Noah's Law passed, and we're working to enhance that law and other laws. We are making a difference. It takes time. It's just the way it is. It's a struggle. You know, I was reading this story the other day about a man that he was a young man at the time. He was taken to a concentration camp. He was Jewish during the Holocaust, and he was in a rail car, and these with just these cattle cars crammed with people. And it was in the winter, and they would leave these cattle cars just on the side of the railway, had no heat, no ventilation, nothing, and be freezing out. Well, he was in this cattle car, And it was one of the most frigid nights that they were having. And there was an older man beside him. He didn't know who he was. He had seen him in the town. But he saw that he was shivering and needed help. So he started rubbing him, body heat, helping him stay warm. He put his arm around him, and he kept on rubbing him all night long. All night long. Now the sun finally came up in the morning, and it started to warm up the car a little bit, and the car was silent. And when he looked around, they were the only two people that survived that night. Everybody else froze to death. So the way I see it, and the way I was thinking about it, is you are that arm. You are putting your arm around the community. You are keeping us warm and safe so we can survive, so we can make it through the night. You, by getting drunk drivers off the road, plus the many other things you do. That's what you are. Think of yourself in that way. And that's how you are making a difference. You know, I really don't want anybody else to have the same pain and suffering that I do. I can tell you firsthand that this is something I can't get beyond it. I can't get over it. I get through it. And for me, this is the worst time of year for me. You know, Thanksgiving was the last holiday that I spent with Noah. It's like it was yesterday. Then a week later, it was a Friday, it was December 3rd. It was about 10 p.m. at night. My wife and I had been out with some friends, and we were so proud of our children. Our daughter Shayna, teacher, our son Noah, a police officer. Both doing well, both happy. We were happy. And then when you get that knock on the door, and you see two officers standing in front of you and telling you that they got to hustle you down to the hospital immediately, you know, your heart just drops. And you're praying. And I'm talking to my wife. I can see it now. Noah's strong. We know he's a strong young man. He's going to get through this, whatever. He's going to get through it. He didn't get through it. And I could tell you, especially over the next few weeks, now I feel like I just want to crawl under the ground. Crawl under the ground and be with him. And I don't want anybody else to feel that way. That's why you need to do what you do. My family and I, we suffer through it. I could tell you my wife has always said she would just like to leave December and leave it and just go away and try to forget about things. The problem is you can't forget, no matter where you go. You carry it with you. Noah is with me all the time. My heart is broken all the time. People We get through. Stay strong on the outside, but you're always broken on the inside, and you can't change that. So even though my wife says she'd like to leave, where do you go? Where do you go? So please, whatever you do, this is so important. Make sure that you understand that. Make sure that Noah, you have your arm around everybody, and he has his arm around you. He's with you. Be healthy. Be safe. Have a wonderful holiday season. And let's keep Noah on patrol. Thank you. And thank you for your service.
Powerful words, I hope. This is the deadliest time of year for us, for everyone. Statistically, this is the worst 8-week period of the entire calendar year for impaired drivers and fatal crashes. So keep that in mind, take care of each other. Every drunk, impaired driver you get off the road, you saved at least one life that night, tonight, hopefully. And who knows how many more. It's already been said to that point. Appreciate your time, your passion for this stuff. You all wouldn't be here if you didn't really care about this whole endeavor. Make sure we get as many impaired drivers off the roadway as we can. As we bring this portion of the event to a close, we have obviously several enforcement events throughout the remainder of the task force, including sobriety checkpoints, saturation patrols, which you all are part of tonight. We have some other strategic operations we're running around the county throughout the holiday season. Appreciate you all coming down. Please drive carefully, take care of each other, back each other up. Stay safe.